Monday, March 19th, and we'll begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Just a reminder, we like to know who comes to meetings, so feel free to sign the attendance sheet in the back at the end of the meeting. We operate by Robert's Rules of Order, so if at any time you wish to speak, raise your hand. If suitable, you'll be acknowledged by the chair. Please identify yourself, where you're from, and feel free to speak. Carry on. Any adjustments to the agenda, Tim?
No, Madam Chairman.
Moving on to number 3, there are no minutes to review and approve. They'll be in our next packet. Number 4, public to speak on a non-agenda item. Yes.
Good evening. Robert Rangeley, 408 Rumford Road. I read with some dismay the Rangeley Highlander that the manager will be leaving us. All I can say is, I hope somehow maybe everybody can lock themselves in a room and figure it out. Because Rangeley, before Tim Pellerin, went through managers like Trump goes through cabinet members. And, you know, Rangeley's not for everybody. And I guarantee you get somebody else comes up here, in 6 months of the year, they'll be gone in a revolving door. And the reason I think he does a great job is because you go in the Borough Hall, Town Hall here, excuse me, and the people are great. You go in, they want to help you. They not like, what do you want? They actually help you at all the departments. So, you know, obviously there's some kind of issue, and I'm not privy to everything, and you know, I expect you to discuss it here in an open public forum. I just hope somehow we can all get in a room, lock the door, and maybe figure it out, because we all lose. Us, you, everybody. And I know your most important wish is for the town of Rangeley. So just something to think about.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no issue. I'll just clarify that right now.
Okay.
Anyone else to speak on a non-agenda item? Okay. Any boards and committees present that wish to speak? Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
In regards to the economic development, the committee had voted on adding trash cans for their budget, and then Joe gave a presentation on the amount. So I'd like the board to consider putting $5,000 for replacing 3 this year and then 3 next year. Also on May 9th, the broadband meeting, do we have a set date for the plantation for that, for the May 9th meeting? I know Laura asked you about it before. I wasn't.
Do we have a what?
Is that a set date for that May 9th meeting?
I took the phone message for that, and they needed to contact the plantations. Tricia was on vacation this last week, so it hasn't been done, but that's the date that they had given me,
Okay,
was May 9th.
all right. Okay.
And so where are you suggesting to put that, the 5,000?
We could put that through, that would be for the 3 on Main Street.
So,
The bid, excuse me, Madam Chair.
yeah, go ahead.
The bid total is 6. There's 3 trash and 3 recycles.
Recycles.
About $500 piece plus shipping, so it's $5,000. We had talked about putting them in a budget, but we could I'll just find a budget line if you'd like. That it'll go in under park somewhere, and I can put it in under equipment somewhere. I'll just have to, I don't know the exact number yet, but I'll look and make a recommendation to you Wednesday night, if you'd like.
Thank you. Any other boards or committees that have something to share? Okay. Consent items. Moving on to number 6, we have an event permit from the Rangeley Lakes Chamber of Commerce and the Rangeley Health and Wellness, and this is for the 2nd annual Best Dog on Earth Day, to be held on Park Road. The date of the event is April 21st, rain or shine, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Make a motion to accept the event permit application to the Rangeley Lakes Chamber of Commerce and the Rangeley Health and Wellness. for April 21st, 2018.
Second.
Shelley motions and Donnie seconds. Appreciation that was submitted on in a timely manner, that always helps. Tim, any signatures that need to be,
I got them today.
okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? And that's unanimous.
Cindy,
Yes.
sorry I'm late. Could I still speak under, too late for public to speak?
We
I went like crazy to get here, but
We have moved on from public to speak. 2 minutes?
3? Then I'll be done.
Timing.
First of all, I wanted to give you all this here. This is an event that is coming up. It's a family fun day at Beaumont Camps this weekend. Fat Tire Bike, don't please include me in this part of it. I have here a couple of things. I've talked to a lot of people in town, and I have put myself out here on the proverbial limb to talk to you all about Mr. Pellerin leaving, Joe Roche leaving, et cetera, et cetera. And I have a number of questions. I'm willing to leave those with you, but I want to know if the board is working hard at trying to retain Tim. I have 30 I have 30 people that I've spoken to, business people only in town, that are requesting that we, the following business people, believe Tim Pellerin is a man who understands the core values of Rangeley. We believe he's an effective leader and manager, and we feel he's demonstrated the essential qualifications necessary to manage the departments, their budgets, and we encourage the Board of Selectmen to do everything in their power to retain Mr. Pellerin as our town manager. I'm willing to leave this with you.
Thank you.
You can check all of them if you'd like. I've told them all that I was going to do that. You'll see one marked out at the bottom who decided today they didn't want to be on it.
Okay.
All right, my questions are, have you asked him to stay?
We can't discuss personnel matter in public.
Well, okay, you may not be able to, but you all oversee him, and the and the townspeople all oversee, to some degree, you all, and ask for some sort of accountability. Those people would like to know, as would I. There are currently 19 towns in the state of Maine that are looking for town managers. Can't find them. I know he's been approached. I know other towns, once they find out he's available, will take him. Must be a reason for that, and I encourage you, I implore you, don't put us through this revolving door policy again if we can find a way to keep Tim here. It's important. In our estimation, and some of them are in this room, at my behest, mind you, to ask you to do that. Over 30 board, I'm going as quick as I can. How are you going to address the vacant board seat? Can you tell us that?
Jim has to, he has to vacate by the end of June, so he'll be submitting a letter of resignation, and we'll have an election for his final year, which will be incorporated into this election for Dave's open seat.
So there'll be a period of time from now until the June election where there'll be a vacancy?
No, there won't be. No. Jim has.
I haven't left town yet.
He has used.
Wait a minute, this is, first of all, please, anything that I have to say tonight, these are not personalities. I'm not looking at any one individual saying you didn't do a good job, that's not my point. And my point is that I know that if I was sitting in that seat, Jim would be asking the same question. What are you gonna do about me?
Yeah.
3
All right.
minutes.
3 minutes is up. No, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, so there'll be a seat for 1 year, which is the remaining term of Jim's.
I appreciate you taking this time with me. Why did Joe Roche leave? We're heading into a season with multiple million-dollar projects.
Steve, we cannot discuss personnel matters. We can't.
Why not? You have the townspeople.
It's municipal employees are.
You can't.
You can't. It's against the law.
Would it be fair enough then, Cindy, Madam Chair, to say that all of these people that I've spoken to about this want to know some answers about, we're heading into a year with multiple million-dollar projects, and we may not have 2 people that know what's going on up to this point, and you'll end up, it's a concern of ours. It's a very big concern of ours. It's a concern of us that no action has been taken on some human rights issues. There's been no action taken on some policy issues regarding commissions and board members. And lastly, I've been asked, and I've sat in your seat, I've sat in your seats, and there's a number of people in this room who've sat there too and know how difficult it is, and we respect it. Please take that as a valid truth. We all respect what you do and know that it's not easy. And I don't mind standing up telling anybody that. But you encourage us each night that we come to these meetings, that we follow the rules of order, Robert's rules. Yet there are examples on the board that you all don't follow them. How come? So those questions are here.
Okay,
You're welcome to look at them. I hope you don't put them in a circular file, because I'll make it on time next time, and thank you all for coming to support me, those who did. But it's important to us, Cindy.
yeah,
It really is. And one last thing. Our condolences. I know it's been a tough time.
thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Tim has said he isn't going anywhere until the town manager position has been filled. And again, this was at his request. Okay, moving on to old business. Oh, I'm sorry, correspondence. We received an anonymous complaint letter, and we will not absolutely honor or review an anonymous complaint letter. So that we are bypassing. Under old business, downtown revitalization plan update. And Tim, are you going to introduce a couple of?
Madam Chair, and members of the board, I'd like to introduce Travis Pryor and Jeff Kerbel. Jeff, of course, is an oldie from, been around town for years working on projects here from Wright Pierce. Travis is new. They're the lead on the downtown revitalization plan project. I do apologize because it kind of got inverted. They ended up doing a presentation in front of the Economic Development Committee first, before I could get to them, to get them here. So Jeff and Travis, I'd like to have you present the plan overall update and where we're going, where we're at with the downtown revitalization plan, please.
Sure, thank you, Tim. Yeah, I'll give a brief overview of why we're here and what we're doing. And like Tim noted, we met with the Economic Development Committee as part of trying to get things moving forward as a kickoff with the community. Part of that's through your Economic Community Development Director that you have part-time, and Daryl Sterling, who we've worked with some in the past, and trying to keep the momentum going so we can hopefully do this within a 9-month or so time period. My name's Travis Pryor. I live in Freeport, grew up in Maine. I'm familiar with the area and have been working at Wright Pierce for almost 15 years now. I head our landscape architecture and planning group, just kind of a subgroup of our civil infrastructure group, which Jeff has been involved with me as well, and I'm familiar with a lot of the infrastructure in the community. Why we are doing a downtown plan, one of the main primary reasons is to reach community consensus on a vision for what you'd like your downtown to be. You've done a variety of planning in the past. You have an economic development committee currently. A variety of initiatives, and we're not here to reinvent the wheel. It's more to kind of check in on what's been done in the past, maybe tweak some things based on our experience doing this throughout the state, and position you with the state and with the Department of Economic and Community Development to potentially develop what's called downtown TIF, tax increment financing district, which has some certain prescribed ways you can capture tax dollars and spend them on improvements with local control. Also position yourselves if you'd like to go after federal grants, and also administered through that state DECD agency. And some of it's looking at things that are not capital improvements necessarily, but maybe looking at your ordinances and things of that nature where you can make some tweaks and also add some volunteer outlook. So the first phase we're just commencing is doing a little bit of background, baseline data assessment, looking at what you've done to date, coming to meet with volunteer committees, and we understand that you will be appointing a downtown committee to work with us going forward. One of the best values of that committee is going to be that after we've come and gone on this project, and hopefully we can work with you on implementation, but having a core committee that's not going to just stop when the report's done, but that will be reminding the community, okay, these are the things we said we're going to do in 4 to 5 years, 5 to 10 to 20, and keep championing it going forward. After we've done kind of that baseline assessment, we're going to come up with a draft survey of some questions we recommend initially reaching out to the community at large. What do you want about your downtown? We're also going to talk potentially with some key stakeholders in your community, whether it's DOT, who controls a lot of your roads, some landowners who own a significant amount of property in downtown, gauge some of their thoughts on the community as well too, and then have an open public forum as well to gather general input. We envision doing that end of May, that first kickoff and before school lets out and everyone gets ready for busy summer season. Figuring out who comes to that first public meeting, get input. If we missed anybody, we'll reach out to those folks over the summer, maybe some of your seasonal folks, and try to follow up and get gaps in public input. Come back with a draft plan based on the initial public input. It may have 9 or 10 or 15 or 4 or 5 big ideas. Show people what that might look like as a vision for your downtown. More pocket parks, another public restroom, a variety of denser housing, a variety of ideas that will come out of that initial public input. And get feedback from the community at large again on that draft plan, and hopefully come up with some prioritization of it. What are the top goals you really want to see that are achievable? These plans can be really big and unwieldy sometimes and overwhelming. So the best part or the most valuable part of that report we're going to develop is the last few pages of action items, and having those in a logical sequence and something that you can bite off and accomplish. Then we'll take that input on the prioritization from the public and come up with a final draft plan that hopefully is about 95% complete, and come back and present that in the late fall to the select board. Also send off a draft to the state for their review as well in terms of compliance with federal funding grant programs and with the potential downtown TIF. Hear a little bit of final impact or input at that point, but hopefully we got it most of the way correct at that stage. Hopefully it was pretty quick and talked too fast, and welcome some questions and answers. We look forward to working with you over the next 6, 7, 8 months on this.
We pretty much wrapped up with the whole initiative, toward end of November into early December or so. And have the priorities and stuff established, and, start set Darryl loose and looking for funding for implementing some of those recommendations.
Some of it you've done, like on the sidewalk grant from DOT recently, the more of a clear community consensus that you have helps with further applications as well too for some of these improvements.
So the final presentation, you're figuring
October, November. Yeah, so sorry, first meeting end of May, second meeting probably middle of August, and then if we need to as a backup date, that's going September, and then October, November. Usually try and wrap it up before Thanksgiving, Christmas, and the holidays.
Great.
I got one question.
Go ahead.
Didn't we at one time have, this same thing done or whatever? I was just wondering if any of that stuff's still around, so maybe you could, see what the priorities were back when we did it before, and see what the...
Done some great workshops from what we've heard even recently on public input. You did do an update to a community plan that Tim has shared with us as well too, and you've done some comprehensive planning in the past, which is part of what your ordinances are supposed to reflect.
Tim?
Yeah, so Jim, what I did do is I was able to go back, excuse me, find what used to be Eric Galley's company, where he was before. They had done some work with the Chamber of Commerce and some other stuff, and they were able to recreate that document. And I was able to get that document to them and to the, I think, Laura, you have a copy of that right there. Yeah. So we were able to actually get that recreated, put that in their hands.
Well, I just wondering, see what maybe was prioritized back then, and see if anything's different or whatever,
Right, yeah, we certainly want to draw on a lot of that information that's been collected in the past, and, try to bring that in and, take a fresh look at it and go from there.
And the beauty behind this will be, once it's done, much like the comprehensive plan, this will, in conjunction with that, regardless of which boards change, personnel change or managers or anything else, this will be a good foundation for the community to always have the plan to move forward for the downtown projects, to make sure that we beautify the downtown area, make sure that becomes a gem of the community with the park and the lake and so forth.
Yeah, I've seen some communities post 2 or 3 of their, short-term goals as a reminder at each meeting of what they're going to accomplish from year to year. And it does build momentum. I've seen communities that can successfully do it one piece at a time.
Great. Any other questions?
So we'll be reporting primarily through Tim and through Daryl as the town's representative as well too, and then ultimately through the downtown committee as that's formed.
Yeah,
You
great.
should note, as part of our project, is not just focused on the Rangeley Village area, but also taking a piece of the Boston
Yes.
Village and looking at
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
portions of it there as well.
And you're an
So-
outdoor tourism-based community for a lot of interests as well too, so it's what your downtown, how your downtown supports the region and vice versa. So it's nice to meet representatives of the plantations so far surrounding the community and
Great.
looking at the big picture.
Well, we're glad to have you on board. You've got volumes and years of experience, so thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Great.
Any other questions regarding the downtown revitalization plan before we move on? All right, next is the park update. Tim?
Ken Haley's got me the documents that I needed for the contract to get that started, so he's finishing up getting his last pieces for me. And then I hope to have that put together, because my goal is to have that in front of the board, the April 2nd meeting for your stamp of approval, so we can get moving on that, and that'll give us, get it a week or two to legal, wrap up any questions with it, get it approved at your final board meeting on the 16th, and then they're good to go, construction 1st of May, according to the timeline that's been implemented.
Okay. Any questions for Tim? All right, we have in front of us next item is the draft school budget. And we have a school board member here. Hi, Colleen.
You have a couple.
Oh, yeah, we have a couple.
We didn't have a meeting last week, so I don't know what you have in front of me.
Well, it looks like Rangeley's total share is $2,796,514 and change. And that's up 38,000 from the prior year. And up 196,000 from the year before. So how close are you to putting the final touches on it, or?
Our meeting got canceled last week due
Oh,
to the
okay.
snow, so we're meeting tomorrow.
Okay,
It's being presented to the full board for the first time tomorrow.
okay,
Probably will be a couple more meetings
Yeah.
before we're completely done.
okay. Any questions or comments regarding the school budget? Next, we've got a proposed addition to the warrant, and it looks like we need a public vote on the Loon Lake Road realignment. And we've got Shane McDougal here. So, looks like you worked with legal and figured out the right wording, and, that's what will be presented to the townsfolk. And there will be a drawing as well, is that?
Yeah, I'm not
something-
sure what, do you have a drawing? I don't have it with me, but it's basically that
Yeah.
alignment. Yep,
Okay,
and I can pass that along
okay,
to Tim, I'll give that to you. I know legal had it.
okay.
Yeah, it was, yeah. All you need, Madam Chair, is what I would need is for you to approve this language on a motion and a vote, and to move it to the warrant, correct, Clark?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the proposed article for the Loon Lake Road realignment.
Donnie's motion,
Second.
and Dave seconds. Any other questions or comments?
What's the appendix? Are we supposed to add that before we make the warrant, to add it to the warrant? It says appendix and it's underscore.
That's the map.
That's the drawing.
That's the map? Okay, we just don't have it in there?
You guys actually got that at the last, you got the drawing that will be in there.
Okay. Just wanna make sure I don't have.
Any other, yeah, Mark?
Will those drawings be available at the meeting on Wednesday night for the public to pick up?
Yeah, we can have them available, it's fine. Any other questions or comments before we vote? Okay, all those in favor? And that's unanimous. Update to the independent auditor's report. So what was, if you recall, at the last meeting when the auditor was present, he handed me the management letter. So that's what I've had copied, that's what this is that one multi-page letter that was handed to me is now, you all have a copy of it. And Rebecca's included her action steps on resolving the 11 deficiencies, so. And you're gonna take a class, huh, Rebecca?
Yeah, on a Friday, they approved me for it.
Okay,
It's not just class,
it's a process. Any questions before we move on? Comments? Next, we have the updated budget sheets. The Budget Committee had their final meeting last Thursday. And Rebecca, were you present for that?
Yeah, so the only changes that they had were, they went ahead and voted the 20,000 in the economic reserve and the change to the culture, so
Okay.
the Christmas lights.
So basically, we match.
You match
Line by
everything.
line.
They just didn't, they didn't vote on the county budget because they
Yeah.
didn't.
That would be good.
Any questions, further comments regarding, yeah, Shelley?
The fuel, did you get a chance?
Oh, yeah.
I had notes on that.
Or maybe we'll present that Wednesday.
No, I didn't have a chance to do the fuel, I did the generator though.
Okay.
I have the generator, so I got a quote on the generator and I came back at, oh, it's on my desk, it's either 12 or 15,000. So I did get that done, I had them do that. I'll check the fuel tomorrow. I haven't done that.
So there, we may have two lines that are adjusted down, depending on what Tim finds out.
45,000 for that.
Well, that would cut the generator line in half, from 30 to 15.
It's either 12 or 15, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Okay. Any other questions, comments for Tim? Next is the Selectmen's Budget Public Hearing Warrant. Shelley, I think you've got a couple of things, don't you?
On Article B19, with the property tax levy limit, did we put last year up to, did we have that
I have to get with the assessor on that, because I think the way it was, I have to get with the assessor that we've already planned to sit down and review that.
Okay.
Okay.
Budget committee.
And there's a couple, like Article C3, there's $2 signs. Article C4 has $2 signs, Article C5 has $2 signs. Article EX1 has $2 signs. And then, and under Article DN1, for the Rangeley Housing Development Corporation meal site, I know you'd mentioned about putting matching funding on that, where that was a matching funding. Are we still gonna do that?
We can't change the wording
Yeah.
on petitioned articles.
Okay, so then it's gonna say match funding for that one and the Rangeley Family Medicine? On
I
that
think,
one?
I think there was when we had one of our budget meetings, it was suggested that perhaps there be an asterisk and then a notation down below saying this is a request for matching federal funds.
Right.
So
Well, in the information piece, we can do it. Like on the information page, we'll put, you know how we do, we put the asterisk in for additional information warrant items. We can do it there, we can't change the actual question.
And we were asked at one of our selectmen's meetings if we could call this something else other than donation request articles. There was something, service oriented that they asked if we could look into and get, have that wording changed, but our legal advice said that if that's anything that indicates services is our municipal services, and we can't, they recommended this heading just stay the same way as what Tim has relayed to us. So these are, what legal is saying is these are donation requests. I think what we need, Tim, is we need to identify somehow what are essential services as deemed by statute. Because there is state law that states what are required municipal services. And if any municipal service line gets voted down, that is a statute, state-required service, we have to revisit that. We'll have a public hearing, et cetera. So those need to be identified.
I sent that to Steve.
Okay.
That document you already gave me, so that's being done as we speak. I should have that for you first thing in April.
Yeah, I'm sure the public will be asking that along the lines here. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Moving on to the town manager report. Department head updates. Tim.
In your book, you have the CEO's updates, where he's issued 2 building permits. His ongoing work, he did take his legal test the other day. I believe he passed that. He's attended his MUBEC training, and he has passed his legal certification exam. Police department, you see that they've had 334 calls for service, of which, as you go down through, 126 building checks, 89 community policing, 23 direct patrols, and so forth. 6 theft calls, 1 arrest, 2 summons. And then on the convictions, they've had 2 convictions. On 226, criminal trespass, guilty, incarceration for 4 days. And on 37, violation of bail conditions, guilty, $100 fine. And then you have the fire department updates. I just want to let the board know that through the efforts of Johnny Wakefield, working with the family of the individual that was that we had one of the accidents out on the pressure ridge, they went out and they raised $4,000 to help us buy a second new rescue toboggan down at Aquasic.
Oh my word.
So thank you, Johnny, and thank you to All Mountain Camps, Tyler Philbrook. I know you guys had a chance to, you guys did something with that the other night, right? So thank you to the Philbrooks and Ball Mountain Camps, to Johnny, and to Mark Chase and his family, and Amanda for doing that, because they've raised, more than half the money that we need now to buy that second toboggan. And that toboggan was critical that morning, getting him off the ice, and the paramedic working on him to get him to shore as quick as possible. And since we bought that, it is improved our response capability and time on the ice, because loading and offloading is so much faster, as opposed to how we used to do it. We used to have to manhandle it out and set it down. We open the back doors, we slide it out and go. And it's really made a huge difference. So thank you to Johnny and to the Ball Mountain Camps and the Philbrooks and everybody who helped raise that money. That was really great.
So. Wonderful. That's fabulous. So how much do they, so you said you've raised a little over half?
Yeah, it's $8,500.
Okay,
So we'll be able to, we've got some more money coming in, and then we'll be able to sell our, the second older one we have, and we'll use the rest of the proceeds from that and get it.
that's great.
So it makes a huge difference, a sled really makes a difference.
Yeah,
Just, could I just say?
yeah.
I think there's more than 4,000 that's been raised for that.
Oh, has it?
A lady named Amanda Quintiliani, who worked with us, has also been a big help in putting a lot of this together. Friends of Mark's down in Rhode Island and in Maryland have also worked towards purchasing this new sled as well. You know, from the old days to today, this is a fabulous leap and rescue.
Yeah,
I know there are some detractors to the snowmobile world, but the snowmobile world is stepping up and helping out in a large measure towards this purchase. Thank you.
yeah. No, it's,
And this piece of equipment, I can't stress enough after talking to the paramedics, the vitality of having this, because it's so fast and so quick it goes over the ice, it's got a low center of gravity, goes good, doesn't tip at all, and loading and offloading the patient, which was a huge issue for us, which would take 5 to 15 minutes depending on how the position of the toboggan was, now takes 30 seconds. We open the back door, slide them in, medic jumps in, we close the door, they're on the sled and they go. Both Johnny and Lieutenant Sykes in the back of the room, I've had, you guys have had the actual opportunity to load that, right? And go with it.
ride in it.
And ride in it.
not as a patient.
Staging.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was on the back.
But,
It was much comfortable than the other one because of the heat.
yeah, so this is, and I can't say it enough, I mean, the possibility of having 2 victims in a snowmobile accident are a real possibility out there all the time.
Absolutely.
Having 2 of these sleds to go get someone, it saves a life. And that day, it did. Mark needed every minute that we could give him to get him off the ice and get him to life flight, get him out of here.
Yeah,
And that sled gave him an extra 5-10 minutes either way, both sides.
yeah.
And it makes a difference, and so very much appreciated for all the help. Thank you to everybody who put the effort forward.
Well, you figure it's a much more comfortable ride for a patient who's in incredible pain.
Yeah.
So, as well. Well done. Very well done.
And that's what I have for my department.
Okay. Any other business, Tim, or anything with the calendar we need to be made aware of?
No, just that Wednesday night, we will be having the public hearing on the budget. 6 o'clock at the school. There'll be the public's opportunity to come for the board to go through each warrant article, public to ask questions, and to make recommendations to the both budget committee and the selectmen to make any changes that they wish that they see, or agree with or don't agree with. So, I want to make sure that everybody understands and knows that that's the night.
And the donation requests should also be present to
Yeah.
speak.
If anybody wants to speak about donation requests, absolutely. You can be there.
All right, that's it for town manager report. Moving on to oral communication from the board. Does the board have any information to share? Yeah, go ahead, Shelley.
I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of the community visioning night was postponed and now is on 28th, thanks. The 28th.
Wednesday, the 28th, at the school at
6 o'clock.
6. At the school.
Couldn't open it fast enough.
6 to 8. We're going to try to keep it to 2 hours. Okay.
I will.
Any other board members wish to share information? All right.
Ordinance committee is meeting on Wednesday,
Ordinance committee is meeting on Wednesday.
28th.
Okay.
Okay. Madam
Yeah.
Chair, the clerk, go ahead and say it. So that
Because of your comment earlier
Yep.
that Jim is getting done as of June 30th, the board would need to make a motion to shorten the time frame on nomination papers so that I can actually give out nomination papers for that position. and the time frame has already started,
Yeah.
so you just need to make a formal motion to shorten the time frame.
Okay, so like effective tomorrow's date?
Right.
Okay, all right, so, so do you need any comment on, completing the remainder 1 year of the term, or to what extent do?
It would complete out his term,
Okay,
yeah, whatever that is. Is it 1 year or 2?
one.
Is it-
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so I'll make a motion that the board allow our town clerk to, what do you want them called? Nomination?
Nomination papers.
To,
Yeah.
yeah, to include nomination papers effective March 20th, 2018. For a vacant board seat from July 1, 2018 through June 30th, 2019.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, Tricia.
Thanks.
Keep us in line. All right, I'll make a motion that we move into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 405-6A, for the purpose of discussing a personnel matter.
Second.
All those in favor? And that's unanimous.
I missed the opportunity to speak with, I wanted to mention to you guys, did you guys apply, send a letter of support for an opportunity zone for us? There's 123 tax zones that were
Yes.
approved for
Yeah.
opportunity zone. You did submit?
Yeah.
From the committee or from the select board? Yeah, the Franklin County sent me, I don't actually read it, but the select board didn't do it?
No, Tim did.
Okay, from the town?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So Tim, can you post this in
Yes,
the entryway?